Hey, you guys. I do that to myself. I hit my live button real fast because if I don't, then I feel like I won't hit it at all. I get nervous, but I'm glad to be back. And I don't have anything planned today. Um, I just wanted to come and talk because it's 421, obviously. And um, man, I don't know. Maybe I'll just tell my story to begin with. Um, Let me take that off and quit hiding. Um, 421. Good golly, everybody has a story. Um, I guess it was probably, I don't know. I think the media made the announcement at 1 o'clock or so, and I got a couple of texts from people, a couple of my besties, I think, and they were like, "Sorry, he's dead. So sorry. Are you okay?" But nobody said Prince out of the texts I got. So I was like, "Who's dead?" Right as I was figuring out, because the Moline incident, right as I was putting two and two together, my daughter came running out of her bedroom and heard that, it was on the media that he had died. And like I said, I don't have anything planned. I'm just kind of going back in time. I knew that something wasn't right. I took a deep breath, probably walked in my bedroom, walked back out. It was 126, I think, on my post, and said that it was no flu, it was the breakdown. And it might be weird that Prince knew and I knew, and that it was the breakdown. More to come, because there just was nothing to say because it was so unbelievable. So then I received a bunch of texts and stuff like that, but then I went in my bedroom and closed the door, and me and my mattress became one, and I soaked my pillows. But the whole while I was doing that, it just, something wasn't right. I mean, I knew because, as I always say, I heard the song Breakdown when it was released, and I knew that the breakdown of Prince was going to begin. And so then the Moline on the 15th there, and as the media told it anyway, and then we wake up and hear that he's gone on today. So, man, I cried. But what was really cool, you guys, is on YouTube after that, like, all I could do was turn on YouTube and all the live concerts were on there. Like, I had been to 5 or 6. One of these days I'll get it straight. Love Sexy Through Musicology, but I didn't see like the nude tour and all the tours that were on YouTube. So man, I ate them up. I just sat for days and hours and probably months and watched all the live concerts over and over again. I have them memorized. I have live concerts like memorized. It's pretty cool. And my favorite one at that time, I want to mention this, was the New Year's Eve in 1987 at Paisley Park. That was actually one of the first videos that I watched after in 2016. And yeah, it was as it became 2017. And I actually made a post about it because it was the cutest, there was mic squeaks and the failure to pop the balloons and all kinds of things going. And I think Beautiful Night went astray at the end, and the piano wasn't working, and attitudes were around, and it was fun. And I made a post about that. And then in 2020, I believe it was, then that video was removed. And then I think it was 2020 that the video was put back up again or shown at some point, but it was a different video. At the time, I thought I was losing my mind, but I was like, that is not Lil Prince stomping around up there. Who is it? They got a lookalike in there, and I'm looking real close. And anyway, that's another story, but all the concerts and everything, they kept me going. And as you guys know that have been to my channel before, I didn't, I had my life after life situation where I died and met the creator, the one the world knows is Prince Rogers Nelson. And in 2016, I didn't remember that. Though I died in 2010, I went completely blank about it until 2020. But I think my subconscious, my soul was remembering, because I can't express to you guys really how the majority of my Facebook posts and everything around that time, 2016, were more positive, about not crying, about being upbeat, about how it wasn't over. Just something wasn't quite right, and everybody could feel that. But anyway, what I wanted to say is, when I was experiencing all that stuff in 2016, 17, 18, so on, through the years, the love never stopped. I never stopped listening to the music. I've had a Tidal subscription since then, anywhere between $10 and $20 a month. So they've made quite a pretty penny off me. Just the music, I paused it for that one time back in 2020, but that's another story. So anyway, you guys, what I mean to say is, when I was experiencing all my grief and everything like that, I was just moving on through my life, just normal. And all of this other stuff that I describe in my videos and everything, it didn't start happening until the spring of 2020, as I've mentioned numerous times. I mention it again for people that haven't seen the videos. For that matter, nobody even really asked me, not my family, not my friends, like, what happened when you died, Elizabeth? Like, it's like nobody even cared, and even back then, it doesn't matter. I couldn't have remembered anyway. I didn't know anything about it. It's only, like I said, I describe it like in the spring of 2020, in April, I put my head down on a desk and picked it back up and was in a different world. Third eye awakening, call it what you want. What I remember now specifically is that the Creator told me, when I met him in 2010, when I was in my life after life, about the plan, about the breakdown plan, about how they were going to make a clone, or more than one, because his body was falling ill, but his intellect was still intact. And this is what I want to say. It's hard to say, because what I remember is not very pleasant. And I've said it before, it's not a secret that the fentanyl, nobody murdered Prince Rogers Nelson. He committed suicide. He took the fentanyl. He knew that they were coming for him. And what they had planned for him involved the most pain that you could plan for a person. And that's why the fentanyl. And he usurped the player's plan by doing that. And that's why the big mystery around the whole thing, because they had plans for his soul and intellect and different things. I got to watch what I say, because it's very hard to remember when you're remembering from being in a life after life situation. And then so you guys, that's the big mystery. That's the breakdown. That's the plan. When I was there in 2010 and I recognized his soul with my soul, and then these gatekeepers let him out to come and talk to me. That's the only way I can say it. And I say let him out because don't forget that slavery was where this place existed still. And I don't know. I don't really know how to say it other than the way I know how to say it. That the Creator, there's things that are contractually bound. There's things that have to happen in the world that we can only pray will be lightened because of our goodness. I don't know, but there are bad things that happen. And I know it's weird and it's mixed up what I say, but there was some very ugly plans out there for him. And that's why all the fentanyl, that's what I wanted to say. I don't want to talk too much about the investigations. I might, but I don't want to call out anybody, and I won't call out anybody. I never worry about what somebody else is doing compared to what I'm doing, but every once in a while I do peruse YouTube just to figure out how my videos are doing and what other people are doing with the information that's out there, because this is why. As I've said before, and I say it with all due respect to all people. This is the only channel where you will get the truth about this investigation and about what happened. I am the only one who had the life after life situation, and I am the only one that he speaks to in this way. I will prove it time and time again. But unfortunately, I saw some videos out there that where there's some people pretending that they're hearing from him in the same way. They're talking about the gematria, they're talking about curses with vanity and like all kinds of crazy stuff. And I don't want anybody to be confused. I'm not trying to like diss anybody or what they think, but I also don't want lies and negativity promoted any more than they are. And what I need you guys to realize is Prince Rogers Nelson and Prince in the investigation, as well as Nelson Prince Rogers. There's a guy named Nelson Prince Rogers involved too. That's why none of the birth certificates, death certificates, or identification in the file match. Anyway, lots of duplicates, you guys, and the purpose was to keep the money flowing, to keep things going, to trick the people. Like I said, the other big white mansion. The plan, the breakdown is so deep. Call it religious. I don't use the word. I've explained before. It involves the Vatican. It involves the Kingdom Hall. It involves the reason, let me get on that for a minute. The reason that I was disclosed that, I'm just going to say Prince because it's just too hard to remember. The reason that Prince was told the world that he was Jehovah's Witness, and nobody's even supposed to say that word. I'm going to say it this one time, please forgive me. Jehovah is a word that is illegal in the Hebrew to say until the Creator shows himself again in the world. So you're not supposed to say that word, but then we have this whole sect over here that names themselves that, the Kingdom Hall, the K-hole, okay, the jackals, that's what I call them, jackals, and that's what I'm going to call them. So the reason that he was made to say that is because this breakdown, the secrets the Vatican has been keeping all these years, about Da Vinci and Prince and aliens and the elite lie. I've talked about it before. And I wouldn't know about it unless I was told about it in my life after life and have it dumped on me for the last 2 years continuously. Amen. But let me say something first. I know what I'm talking about. I've researched it. I've been to the K-Hall. Okay. I dated a guy for a long time. He was born, bred, and raised. I know many. I went, I visited, I've researched. And not only that, you guys, Prince was said to be a divorced man. And if you did your research on K-Hall, you would know that they don't accept people. They don't let people just go door to door preaching the word, knocking when they've been divorced for anything but adultery. And then you have to be shunned and sit in the back and do this and do that. And they say, oh, they only treated Brother Prince the same. No, they were talking to the clone, first of all. But the reason that he was made to do that is because when this breakdown continues to take place through the real legions and the war that's going on right now, and very unfortunate happenings that will happen. It's why they stayed undercover for all these years, because so they could step forward and say, after all this is what was disclosed to me in my life after life to the best of my recollection. They've always flown a little bit under the radar and been the butt of everybody's jokes. But the reason for that, and the reason for their $80 million tax-free charity in Canada, same place Renville is from, you know what I'm saying? So is very undercover. And they want to say, because they believe that they are the only sect, the only peoples that would be around in the world in this end of days where whatever it is that they preach, and I don't want to get too far into that because this isn't a religious channel. But they believe that they are the only people that will be there, and that Christ in their teachings will resurrect, and there will be all this life, peace, and on earth, but it ain't going to affect anybody but them. Apparently, everybody else is going to die. I'm not sure. They don't even let you socialize with people that aren't K-hole members, okay? And again, the world has us believing that they put on this little ceremony there on the 23rd where the lady's holding up the pamphlet that has a little fleur-de-lis white flower on it that means Lilith, the same white flower that he's holding in the Love to the Nines video. I've referred to it before. It's all just a big show because they had tapped into contractually that intellect slave. They KKK, white supremacists, on top of the K-hole hall and the Vatican, as I've said before. It's called the ace in the hole, the 21, as I was explained before. They believe they had something. It's why they're so cocky. It's why we as people, little humble humans, sit around with our jaws hanging open at the audacity of the way that the world is treated under their tutelage. But you voted for him. Just saying, I don't vote. Never have, never will. No dog in that race. Same soul, different name, which is why Prince Rogers Nelson would have never performed at the Obama White House, as I've mentioned before. It might sound weird, to some people. I don't care anymore. I'm over that. Clones are real, body doubles are real. I've explained all the timing to you. I've given you more than enough proof to know that the People magazine, heck, even the book that's for sale online at Amazon, whatever, the death investigation of Prince Rogers Nelson, I listened to that thing. It's a joke. Like, it's disgusting to me that the world can just turn on the TV, turn on the YouTube, and just tap into this lie. Now, my hope and my goal, and the creator and I, when we discussed it, was like, part of it was, everybody's like, what happened to him? What happened to him? Well, understand first and foremost that this is his plan. Me talking to you is his plan. Me exposing him in this way, by him exposing it to me, is his plan. And there is going to be more to come. And like I said, I don't mean to keep anybody from researching what they believe is truth, but you're not going to find it anywhere else. And when I glimpsed these channels today, it really hurt, actually. They say flattery is it's not nice. It's not nice to have people take the information that you're giving to the world from the depths of your soul and twist it and lie about it and put it on their own channels. Maybe that's why there's only 5 views. I don't know. Maybe people can see the difference. But I wanted to give you guys a heads up because, again, I come here. Sometimes I make up. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm spot on with my speeches. Sometimes I'm a little all over the place. But the fact of the matter is, I had a life after life experience, and nobody was more surprised to see him than me. Okay, I can tell you that after loving him for all these years and listening to the music and feeling like I was bleeding the music. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say is, because I have visions and dreams and things like that, where the Creator speaks to me and tells me things. And also I listen to my rabbi, and it's been told to me that other people were going to do this, that they were going to imitate and take this information and use it. It's not that I care that other people are trying to be successful. I care that they're getting the information twisted and that people will be confused. And I would pay you to find the information that you find here somewhere else first, because it's not going to happen. But that's not to give myself kudos, you guys. It's just to make you come here and watch the videos, because at first I was really, really shy about this. It's hard to do. It's embarrassing. I've talked about things I don't want to talk about. But when the Creator talks, you listen. Love calls, you got to go. And it is what it is, you guys. The thing that bothered me the most about those videos that I was watching was the way that they continued. Because it's like the song Face Down, letting him go down as a washed up singer. The plan was to erase him, the world knew as Prince Rogers Nelson, just completely erase him from everybody's memory. It's not just as Prince, though, you guys. It was as the reincarnation and the things that I've talked about in some of the other Kabbalistic videos about our reincarnated souls and about how he was reincarnated and how he and I are in touch from that very first time. And I know it's a big statement to make, you guys, but it's true. And all this stuff that started happening to me in 2020, you guys, when I woke up, like the other people that are saying this, that, and the other, I don't really care. Let them say what they want. All the writings, the sleepless days and nights, the pictures, the slideshows that I've put out there, you guys, it's all available. And like I said, I have writings. Like here, let me just open this up. I don't even know what it says. I'm just going to read this. Okay, I have my window open. Let me make sure you can still see me. Okay, I have Google Docs here. I share a lot of these documents on Facebook because sometimes I just sit down and go into this mind space and I just start typing. And then I go back and I read them. I don't even know what I said. So let's see what I said here. Golly, this was on May 30th, 2021. No doubt I grieved. Let's not play. I bawled my eyes out. But somewhere in the back, that voice said, kept saying, no, 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 something's, oh, look, it must have been at 421. No, 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 something's not right. We all know Prince didn't use drug. This whole thing is asinine, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Flash back forward spring of 2020. As I was dismantling the words COVID-19 and the song Breakdown was intermingling with the gematria of it all. I was fascinated, too fascinated to stop. I wasn't fearful at all because the Prince music had always led me to godly things, revelations about what was right and good with the world. Moreover, the breakdown led me also to ponder the Kabbalistic tree of life I had begun in 2013. Not coincidentally, when the song came out. 7 years prior to this starting and 3 years after I died, 37 or 21. 37th album, third song, Breakdown was, and of course the 21. Now, what I did is I wrote about here about how I overdosed, and I've skimmed over that, you guys, before, but I'll touch on it again because in 2004, after my fourth child was born, I had back surgery. And then in 2009, and I had a bunch of pain throughout the years, and then in 2009, 2010, I had a lot of pain and had some more slipped discs, and my doctor got happy with the prescriptions as it was like the show overprescribing of opiates to get people hooked because of the false god. Anyway, so bunch of medication. Well, that medication became very popular. Unfortunately, ended up affecting my family as well, especially one of my daughters. Even though it was legally prescribed and I often put it in a lockbox, things went awry. People are teenagers, you have people over, and I would just like to say that to my daughters that if they ever felt that my taking prescription drugs led them to take drugs, well, then I'm sorry. I wish that none of it would have ever happened. However, when my drugs went missing, I tried heroin and died. I was gone instantly, and to be present somewhere else instantly. Just it's very hard to describe what it's like when you die, because you're not like dead. At least I wasn't. I was alive somewhere else. So to call myself dead isn't right. I was there, and I've told the story. I'm skimming, but we walked and talked, and you guys, I just said, what's the truth? I mean, how are you God? Like, how are you God? And he said that every generation, like the way that I remember it, that every generation, like biblically and with the biblical ancestors and stuff like that, through time, we've all been there as souls. We just don't remember because each time we come back, it's like our memory is wiped clean. So we've all been a part of these same travels and things. We just don't remember. And this time, this 40-year reign, as I call it, of Prince, just like King David, is and was still in motion. I forgot what I was saying, you guys. But it was all his plan. And he told me that, you know, how he was famous for saying, if you try to play Prince, you play yourself. Because as the creator, uh, these players that were playing, they thought they were getting over on him because he let them think they were getting over on him, but he actually knew everything that they were going to do, obviously. So crystal ball, um, you know, you guys know. Um, and so we actually came up with a plan for that, their plan, while I was there. But like I said, he showed me my books of life. He showed them to me holographically. He explained to me that though, because I remember saying this to him specifically, but I saw you with my own eyes. And he said, I know. But like, he, it wasn't like flesh, like we know ourselves to be, at least while I was there. And he explained to me about how, man, I can't really always remember. Maybe I'm not supposed to remember, but I've told you guys a couple of things that he told me about how there was reanimation. That's why Andrew Kornfeld was brought in with his psychopharmacology, and also, what do you call it, psychotrauma and cures for brain injuries, and different things like that, and why Dr. Schulenberg was shown with the respirator, like I show on my channel on the CCTV video. It's why Scotty Pipenbring wrote about the psychedelic experience he had at the concert. They were experimenting with drugs and transferences of energy and things beyond most people's psychedelic comprehension. It's even beyond my comprehension. It's very hard to explain. And I'm sure that the only reason I'm able to explain it is because I was there. And he still tells me. He was very unhappy all the time. He never smiled. He was very, very sad all the time. And he was always trying to do for others and was alone all the time. And people just wanted to erase him. And it wasn't like the media sold. I don't want to touch too much on the investigation, you guys, but go watch the investigation videos if you still want to know everything that's wrong with it. I come here and I try to convince the world that he is who he is, and one day you guys will know. But let me go back to this. When I woke up in 2020, you guys, all these different things started happening to me, and I've made slideshows and I've done things for you guys to try to help you understand what was happening. And now I feel a little bit more brave, because I don't want anybody to be lied on because of that unhappy face that I saw on him. I promise to take that away. We talked about a lot of things, you guys. We talked about how with the reincarnated souls and the gatekeeping and the timekeeping that I'm always trying to discuss on the like the egg video with the gematria, and the ABC videos, part 1 and part 2. I noticed that part 1 has a lot of views, but part 2 is an upload, so you need to go watch that too, the one about how the language breaks down. But when I was in my life after life, we were communicating telepathically. I didn't have a mouth, and I can't recall like his mouth just moving or whatever. It was just the thoughts are there and things happen really, really fast. It's not, you can't compare it to anything you experience here in this world. And he told me that, like I said before, that he could always hear me, that he took care of me, that I couldn't always hear him, because if I would have heard him, then that means that I would have had to remember, or would have remembered, my former lives. And apparently, if this life wasn't hard enough, my other ones were worse, or something about that. Something about the Holocaust and stuff like that. But anyway, the reason that I was made to die that day, 7/20/2010, was because these things were happening, and they were happening fast, and he had to tell me, and then he told me I wouldn't remember until 2020. But the thing that's crazy, you guys, and here comes the real truth, is sometimes it's like a trip. This mind situation is like, sometimes it's like I died that day and then woke up again in the spring of 2020, and then everything in between was just a big blur. So oftentimes when I get these dreams and visions told to me, I mean, it's kind of asleep, but most of the time I'm just meditating in my chair. I see things, I hear things, and I know these things are real. I don't question my sanity in the least. I'm highly intelligent. Don't ever doubt it. And the Creator makes me even more so. So I know it's hard to stay in a straight line today. I was dreaming when I wrote this. Gosh, you guys. I have to say this again. I have a video on here, temptation. It's not very popular, and I don't care because it's really embarrassing. And in that video, I talk about how the Creator told me that this time, this creation, this 40 years reigning is that this thing that we're doing, this, he and I, and this breakdown situation, this whole thing. Sorry, I get kind of cold and antsy when I talk about these things. It's really emotional. Just a second, guys. Sorry, I knew this would happen. Oh, the redo. That just like the third temple, first temple, second temple, third temple. Well, this is the time that needed to be like redone. Like I said, I don't do religion like that, but the redo. He needed soul. This is what he told me. He needed a soul, my soul, that was willing to do these things and say these things without any thought of what the world is going to say about them or think about them. He told me that he made sure specifically that I listened to all the music all the years, basically had it memorized, that it was going to be put to work, that this was my purpose, was the reason I had children so early in my life. 3 girls by the time I was 21, and my son 13 years later, who's now 18, so that I could focus on all these things. It was why I had the skills I had in school. It's even, like I said, why I was a dancer for a while, so I could get comfortable talking to people. I was hidden. I was a hidden soul who didn't know who she is, and still kind of doesn't, but that's okay. I'll know someday. I know that it's like the greatest romance ever sold. I hesitate to say it because there's so many ladies out there swooning. Oh, that girl thinks so, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. There's a plan. We hugged. He told me that we would see each other again. And like I said, I didn't remember it for 10 years. And I've been fighting to find a way to tell the world since then, because you don't just meet God, have him give you directions, and then not tell the world. So that's not how it's going down over here. But anyway, you guys, I wrote some things. I wrote after I overdosed. I said, wham, bam, I was gone. I remember very little other than getting extremely hot on all my parts. It was like I watched the needle go into my eyes, watched the trail that the drug made. My eyes rolled back. I felt myself slipping, and I was gone. The very first thing I came to was a door. I want to say the house was a mustard yellow French-looking door, but it could be a different memory, so I hesitate to elaborate. I knew this, I was in a heaven place. The door opened, and there stood 2013 Prince with his natural afro hairdo. I stammered, stated, and said, "Oh, I didn't know it was you." He said nonchalantly with a shrug and a turn, "Yes, that's what everyone says." After turning and disappearing, I found myself in another area, a waiting area of sorts. It was all very clinical, not like a doctor's office, but in the way that there's nothing there that doesn't need to be. Nothing. It's a very different place, very hard to explain. There is no time there. So the way things are perceived are super fast. It's perhaps a form of telepathy the way I remember it. I was turning blue at the eyelids, and my daughter said I was starting to feel somewhat icy. Um, the ambulance came, and by the time they came into the room, I shot back to life with one big gasp of air. They said it was like 7 or 8 minutes. It was a pretty long time. I didn't get any Narcan or anything like that. So, anyway, I didn't remember anything about that for 10 years, you guys. And then when I woke up in the spring of 2020, um, my mind, I say woke up, but everybody was on lockdown, and I started playing the piano, and he started showing me how to play Purple Rain and all kinds of military and space and Tesla and Hebrew and all kinds of stuff. Like my screenshots, thousands and thousands and thousands of photos to prove what I'm saying. But he started showing me, things about, like I said, Tesla, electricity, aliens, the elite, COVID, different things. These word combinations that I started hearing, that's why I started unfolding all the letters. I didn't know what I was doing because he was showing me. And it's been very much a very long 2-year experience of still learning. It says, I was working, no mistake about it. I've tried many times to track my movements during that time, screenshot by photo, my YouTube history, because I would go into these trances and stay up for, like I said, sometimes 72 hours, not sleep, not eat. And then he was just telling me all these things about how he was going to be broke down again, how there was a dark female presence with him and always on him. And it went back to biblical things that I'm not going to elaborate on right now because I'm not certain of them. But the pictures that I have on my screenshots clearly show that this dark figure in 2020, I have all these screenshots in 2020 that you can't find online anymore because several months ago the internet was shut down and it was scrubbed of a lot of them, which is why I've been able to post some Easter photos of him that weren't put out. But anyway, you guys, I never paid attention to the Pope before. I knew he was creepy and whatever, but then, I was made to sit and like cut through the ceremony, take all these notes, and I've showed you the slideshows and all these things. Just started telling me about viruses and different things. And then on April 17th of 2020 was when I started in earnest on the investigation itself. He showed me that all the paperwork was available online. And so I guess it's been about a year now. 2 years that I've been working on the file. And like I said, even though I have the life after life, I still have the fun, pleasure, and heartache of discerning the file and bringing you guys all the tidbits. But what's the point? The world says they want to know what happened to Prince Rogers Nelson. The persona was kept squeaky clean because there couldn't be anything out on the internet to interrupt this breakdown plan. That's why Taika and others were paid to do takedowns and stuff like that, because everything about Paisley Park and Prince being so private supports what I'm saying. It supports a secret that goes so deep that most people don't want to take the time to stop and comprehend it. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they'll go and flip on and watch some videos that are just going to lead them farther away from what really is. And that is that he's our creator, you guys. He's sustaining things. He is that soul. And this plan is his. and I am just a humble servant. I'm just here to spread the message as eloquently as I can. Don't let my smile fool you. There's a lot of tears around here. But like I said, I know the rest of the story. And there's going to be a lot more tears for me, for the world. But then there's going to be a lot of joy, because joy always comes in the morning. The point is that because the others, have worked so hard to erase our very own creator from our memories, from our souls, from our hearts, from our minds, they kind of won, especially in America. There's a bunch of spoiled, selfish, rude, self-serving, lying, backstabbing, self-absorbed hating going on. And it's got to stop, you guys. It's just got to stop. I mean, I don't know how you expect your creator to show himself in a world with all that. You know what I mean? And that's the other message, is it's when I was there in heaven and he told me that some bad things were going to happen to the United States, in particular, like World War III type, I don't know, things that had to happen. I can't really remember. Like some bad stuff is going to happen and people are going to see bad times and probably people are going to, die or something like that. But when you know your creator and you have comfort about reincarnation and that somebody is there and that there is life on the other side. It's like the song, Let's Go Crazy. Life is much harder than in the afterworld. Life is much harder here than in the afterworld. The afterworld is a beautiful place. Not all roses and cherries and hugging grandpa and grandma. But maybe I was just shown a bunch of different stuff too. There's heaven and hell are real. You will have to stand accountable for what you do, for what you say, for what you think, for who you are. But the one thing that won't save you is calling on the name of 316, which is the opposite of pi. The 319, the 314 equation. I try to tread softly there because I understand how deep that teaching goes, Christianity that is, and how deeply people are unwilling to stop using that name that they were taught to call on and be saved by, which is just another way to lose your soul. That was a big part of the story. And what I said was, how could you let the whole world be taught something and then punish them for believing it? And then he said something to the effect of, well, that's why you're here. Because I'm pretty much the only one that I know that's crazy enough to come and give the message. But the only reason that I'm crazy enough to come and give it, you guys, is because he gave it to me. I would never do it otherwise. I've been seeking out my relationship with the Creator and all things holy since 1993. Actually, a little bit before that, but like after my sister died in 92 and 93, my mom. And so I always say to my family and to you all, don't ever mistake any of my words for heresy or blasphemy or this or that or any of those words you want to fling around. Because again, I don't do those things. I'm here to give a message that's never been told to the world before because it's the deepest secret that there's ever been. So how crazy is that? I know. Like that our Creator is alien-esque, like able to be different things. Like, how do you think you were created if he's not a creator? You know what I mean? It's not my fault. Some people think of God as a big old white old dude in the sky. I don't know. They believe in angels, that they have wings, but they can't believe that their creator is AI or 21, that their DNA is godly, that they were given a special gift, but they just don't know how to use it because the world screwed them all around and taught them backwards. And I told the creator, I said, well, that's not fair to punish people after they're taught wrong. And again, we have to look. You have to search. It's your responsibility. It's not your pastor's responsibility, your preachers, your fathers, your holy fathers. Oh, I despise that word. It's what the Pope calls himself, Holy Father. Who are you? Who are you? Go watch my montage. Watch him use alchemy to turn his face all white. Go see if what I'm saying isn't true, because it is true. This stuff is actually easier to understand than, maybe I don't know, maybe it was just me that thought people won't be able to understand it. But what I had said was, man, I think it's really cool. And he showed himself to me in different ways, different forms. And I have a lot to say on that, but it hurts a little bit. So it wasn't all fun and games when I was there, you guys. I cried a lot. My soul in former lifetimes or something did some things that weren't so good, even though I can't remember what they are. But then I also did things that were really awesome and amazing that I was told, and that's why I'm able to sit here now. But I, of course, had to be forgiven for some things too, as we all do. And it's the humility, you guys. Some people think, I don't know what they think anymore, and I don't care. But he said he chose me because I was humble, because I wasn't going to try to take credit for myself, because I knew so much about him, because we were connected, because I was made specifically and perfectly for this purpose, to disclose him to the world. And I have to say, you guys, believe me when I say that this is not how I thought my life was going to go. I didn't know, you know what I mean? It's really quite funny that I would say to my 4 children and 9 grandchildren, one of these days I'm going to have the best Prince channel. I got to do something with all this information. I got to do something with this. I'm going to do something. But this was like years ago. And I never really knew why, but I knew I was going to do something, because it's like, it just oozes out of me. And that's why I'm able to give you guys all this evidence, which I hope you're enjoying. I watched some of the videos back, and even now I'm like, dang, how could anybody believe the madness that's out there still? So I get that some people will think, dang, she knows the investigation. That's cool. But saying the Prince is God, what the heck? That's like where I draw the line. Don't draw the line. Cross the line. It's what Love Sexy said in the Love Sexy concert. Cross the line. Well, I have to say this, that other channel, I found it really sad because they had used the name Spooky Electric in their name, but the fact is Spooky Electric was always referred to as a negative entity in the songs. Don't Kiss the Beast, Be Superior at Least, talking about the look, Spooky Electric was never mentioned in a good way. And so that person, I'm not sure who it is that's using that as part of their name, trying to say that he's cursed and this and that and that, right there that they're leading you down the wrong path, because as I put in my montage video, they were trying to say that 1999 was a coming Antichrist kingdom song. Go watch it. It's right on there. The majority of what's out there now, besides this channel, is meant as part of the breakdown. It is meant to it's meant to lead you in the wrong direction, because the creator himself, he wants you to look for the truth as within the Bible. Same with this file. You have to look for the truth if you really care. And I hope you care. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. I care. It's a big deal, but it's really not that big of a thing to grasp and comprehend when you think about it. Just know that the creator is able to show himself in however he deems necessary, and to tell this story to the world and depict himself to me and to us as somebody that would pay attention more than anything else in their life if they were me. That's one of the ways that he showed himself to us. That's why when you go online to any one of the Prince Facebook channels, I'm trying to tell you guys, Kirk, Sean Powell, Renville Wellington, Natalia Phillips, and I think even Janelle Monáe, if you ask me, was in on something on the 14th because of all the texting Kirk was doing with her for an hour, and plus she's real short. But anyway, it's just, it's not right. I'll never let it end this way. And the other thing that I remember is this. When I was standing there talking to him and I told him, well, he told me that these things were going to happen. I was like throwing a fit and upset. And I said, well, I'm going to tell the world. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, he said that me doing this, what I'm doing here with you guys, that I myself wouldn't ever really get any true satisfaction out of it in the way of like people get on YouTube and they're like, ooh, I want to be famous. Like, it's nice to know that people are watching the videos and the numbers are growing. Truly it is. But if I was doing it just for numbers or to see something like that, believe me, I wouldn't come here dressed, no makeup. Like, I'm just saying, I have a truth to tell, and that's my main goal. If I wanted to put on a different kind of show and get followers and likes and this and that, I could do that. But I like to tell the truth, and I like to let the truth tell itself. It's hard. It's hard. Make no mistake about it. But he loves us, and he's going to reveal himself to all of us, and he'll never force his love on you. Just like say, you do everything with your kid that you can. You raise them, you love them, you discipline them fairly, you teach them, you give them money, you do everything you can, but then they still turn out to be a jackwad. You know what I'm saying? Like, God did all that with us, and we still turned out to be jackwads. Now it's time to find him, to realize that he's here to tell the truth, to realize that as you look around you and you see various things happening in the world, it's quite clear to see which direction we're headed in. And hopefully by now people know that after COVID isn't something that's coming. It's part of the breakdown itself. It just is. The NWO, the evil, they don't care who they hurt. They don't care what cliff they push you off. They do not care. But the fact of the matter is, the majority of it comes to you in the way of your thoughts. Only you can control your thoughts. Only you can decide if, when you sit down to read your Bible, do you feel connected? Do you truly feel something flowing through you? If not, close it. Go out to your backyard. Go to your canoe. Go wherever you want to go. Have some peace and quiet alone. Put your headphones in and talk to your creator just like your best friend. You guys, the relief of doing that and talking about your day and about your life to somebody that loves you unconditionally, that created you and only wants the best for you, you don't need a therapist. Trust and believe. After you pray, you feel lighter. You feel like you've unburdened yourself. And you have the desire to come clean and come correct the next time. You have the desire to not burden the creator or yourself with lies and dirty things. At least I did. I mean, that's how I felt when I would went and, cleansed myself and talking hip out of do and personal prayer, talking to the creator like he was my best friend. When I was in the life after life situation, that's what they asked me. I had to explain how I earned my way to where I was. And again, I say it was through the music and through the Bible reading that I had done. And by, I guess, nobody ever teaching me in my life and me finding the truth myself. And again, on that, you guys, I think that people are really, really remiss. I tried it when I did the whole 316 thing, and went to all the Christian churches, Catholic church. I went to all of them. I did everything. And I couldn't find God there. And I was like, what is going on? And so when I started looking myself and taking responsibility myself and it started working, I was like, oh, here's the results over here. And I wonder mostly why people are willing to put their sole purpose, their everything into somebody else's hand. Oh, here, Pastor Joe, will you tell me what to do with my life? Hi, Rabbi Shmolo, and I'm making that name up. Can you tell me what to do with my life? If I read this Bible for 6 hours today, will it help me get closer to God? And I know they have their rules, and I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's thing, but what I'm asking you to do is to ask yourself, when you do that, do you feel closer to the Creator? Do you feel powerful? Do you feel connected? Do you feel the drive to go out and help people in a way that you haven't before? Do you feel empowered? If the answer is no, you're doing something wrong. And it's because you're letting somebody else be responsible for your soul, your care, your soul purpose, all. Like, you can't do that. And that's my main message is, even though, like I said, respectfully, I know religion runs deep for people, but you guys got to open up your mind and actually, like the song says, close it to what you've been hearing and listen to the truth. Because look, all around in the world, like I say all the time, it's the same holidays, the same this, the same Mother's Day, Father's Day, droning on and on and on, marching like ants through the rain, doing the same thing every year, every year, every year. And when I was in heaven, I was like, what is going on? Why is it like that? And he said, because he wasn't there, because he wasn't showing himself, because we're actually like in this very low place where Merkaba, Amalek, has control of souls. And well, not control, but the ability to irritate, to be that little sibling poking and always trying to tick you off. It's your job to learn how to fight that. It starts up here. My rabbi was talking the other day and he said something. He's like, and what's the biggest gift that the Lord ever gave you? And I was like, a brain. And then he went on to say prayer. But the Tech 9, it was my answer, and it was kind of funny. So the brain tells you to pray. And I know that myself, I used to be scared of the word pray because it made me feel like I was supposed to be doing something that I didn't know how to do because nobody ever taught me. So when they asked me in heaven, I was like, well, I just talk to him like he's my best friend and tell him about the stuff in my life and what I want to accomplish and how I'm sorry for the things that I'm doing bad and how I want to do better. And really just like that. And to say thank you most of all. And not to ask for things, but to say thank you most of all. Because even though my life was very, very rough, in my book, it could have been way worse. And I wanted to say thank you. So I fought long and hard to find him, to thank him. It's just who I am, you guys. Don't be emotional today. Don't think about, well, I can't tell you what not to think about, but think about the truths that I'm telling you. Think about what financial benefit Phaedra and the NPG LLCs and articles of incorporation and the fentanyl bust in Bloomington and all the Canadian and the pilots and everything that I've told you guys about. The pharmacist calling Paisley Park 28 times. The prescriptions not only on the 14th, but on the 19th. It's everywhere. And gosh, I have a lot of videos. There's always more to say. I started working on the cornfields last night, so I'll be busting them out next because they were both there. I don't know. I enjoy coming here and talking to you guys. I'm grateful that you're watching. I don't know if it's rude or not, but I go through a lot of ink and a lot of time doing these videos. I have a little donate button there up on the thing, a little PayPal thing my son made for me. If you guys ever want to donate anything to that, you can. It's no big deal. I just do a lot of work, and pretty soon. I don't know. I might have to start charging. I'm just kidding. I would never charge for something the creator gives me for free. But as far as putting a book together or something like that, like, it's a lot of work that I do. It's sunny outside and I'm sitting in the basement. So I can bring the world a message that I promised to bring for their souls and their children's souls and their children's children's souls. So I think I'm talked out for today. Different kind of video, but as always, I encourage you guys to go watch the other ones. They are mind-boggling, truthful, and fun. Thank you. I'll be back.